This is a pump. This is an interesting pump. It works right here. It have a little ball on the front, and you just like pump it up.
You pump the tongue and it has an air bladder inside that compresses the air in the shoe.
So you can put it up to the level, you know, where you want it. That's good when you're playing basketball, you know. You need comfort. So. When you want to release it, it's a button on the back.
And you push it.
And release the air. Ooh, where did you get these? You must be bad or something. Pump it up.
Well, some teams look for a player upon which to build a foundation. Others look for a player for that missing piece for an NBA title. You led your high school team to a state championship. You led Michigan to an NCAA title. RUMEAL Robinson, what do the Atlanta Hawks need?
I think the Atlanta Hawks just need a little guidance, and hopefully I can have the opportunity to lead them to an NBA title. They have a great team, and I just think they just need that one mind to go with the team.
I know he visited 17, Steve, but I think this is the one he wants to be with.
Well, you know, he looked at that hat, and you looked at that hat just like Chris Jackson. What is it about these hats that they're giving you guys that seem to be so special tonight?
I really think it's, as you sit here, you're really not sure if you just, you know, made it to the NBA. It's true, it's a dream come true, and, you know, I like to thank my mother and God and everybody that really looked after me through my life. And, you really don't get the opportunity to thank those people that really care about you, and I really would like to thank them.
You have done it now. You're on your way to stardom. The best of luck for you. I'll tell you something. You're from Boston. You'll learn to hate them.
RUMEAL Robinson. Now a member of the Atlanta Hawks. Let's go back to Bob Neal.
Joined the club. That's a young man who had problems with dyslexia when he went into college and had trouble even getting into the University of Michigan, but he graduated with a 2.9 grade point average, so you can see that he is an achiever. RUMEAL Robinson goes to the Atlanta Hawks. The last two picks, both Big Ten players. Willie Burton from the Minnesota Golden Gophers went to Miami, and RUMEAL Robinson out of the University of Michigan goes to the Atlanta Hawks. RUMEAL Robinson, as I say, I always remember him hitting those free throws when Michigan wins the championship. So, yes, he did not have a great free throw shooting percentage, but he hit the clutch ones, that's for sure. Now, let's go to the next one. This one's one that's fun, because we talk about everybody worried about what Don Nelson's been doing. He's been blowing a lot of smoke, maybe, about Dwayne Simpson. Is he going to take him or not?
He's got his chance. They need a center. They've got to get bigger. They have very skilled, smaller players. Here's his chance to get his man.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what Nelly's going to do. And there's the man that everybody's talked about.
All right, let's go to the commissioner now for the next selection.
With the 11th pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Tyrone Hill from Xavier.
Tyrone Hill is not one of the players who is here in New York right now, so we won't get to meet him personally. But Tyrone Hill is the selection, and once again, Don Nelson, we can say now, was blowing a little smoke about talking about Dwayne Simpson. But he went to a very good player in Tyrone Hill. Tyrone Hill, as you see, is 6'9", 245 pounds. He is an aggressive rebounder.
Well, that's what they need. Last year, they just got killed on the boards. And when you talk about weaknesses, offensive skills, when you have Chris Mullin, you have Hardaway, you have Mitch Richmond out there, you're going to score points. You've got to be able to get the basketball. Nelly likes to run. This kid is a big-time rebounder.
Yeah, he's very strong inside. And, you know, when they got rid of Larry Smith, they really were suffering in that area. Then Peterson was hurt. He really didn't do much of a bowl to block some shots. He's not a rebounder. This young man can go inside and get some boards down there for Nelly. And obviously he was blowing some smoke. But I tell you, this pick is going to make it real interesting to see what happens now with the picks below, because a lot of people like Tyrone Hill who are going to be picking behind Golden State. And so Nelly's screwed some people up again.
Well, I think also, too, they must know that Alton Lister is pretty healthy after his surgery, knowing that Alton will be able to step in and play center. This young man can play power forward. They get Peterson back. Now they've added three pieces to the puzzle. The front line they did not have last year.
So a lot of people thought that Golden State, because they played so much with that, quote, small lineup, would like to get a little bigger, and they have, in terms of effectiveness, gotten bigger.
Oh, no question, Bob. The thing about it is that, you know, it wasn't like Nelly wanted to play that way all the time. Nelly didn't have much of a choice to try to survive, and he did a great job with that situation that existed out there, but Now, with this addition, I think, as Doug pointed out, that they're going to be a team that will be extremely competitive again next year. Nellie's not a guy that's going to have a team stay down very long.
Now, another interesting situation is that situation in Houston. Houston, with a team Elijah Wan at the center, has been disappointing. Houston has not been able to move as far along as they would like. They had a disappointing season. Houston is an interesting team. They are up next. What are our thoughts on the Houston Rockets?
Well, their strengths are they have Elijah Wan, they have Thorpe. What do they need? They need to think about possibly replacing a Sleepy Floyd. They need a point guard, a shooting guard. The things that come into my mind right now, you think about it, you talk about Travis Mays. He's a young man that's played there in Texas. That's a possibility. Also, D. Brown from Jacksonville, a little jet of a guard that can leap, that can penetrate, but they need to add some speed and quickness, some shooting into their backcourt.
Yeah, I agree with Doug. I think that Mays would be the choice. I think they like Robinson also, with Robinson, of course, being chosen already. That they very well are going to go for Mays. They want to get some shooting. They want to get some help in that backcourt, and I would think that would be the logical choice. Had Burton or somebody like a Simmons been available also, I think they could have been interested in one of those players as well. But right now, Mays and perhaps D. Brown, but it's going to have to be a guard, I would believe.
You know, Rick, when you have a powerful inside game, all Elijah Wan and Thorpe are double teams, and when they can come down and pack it in, you've got to have guys who can expand that defense. And we talk about the premium on shooting the basketball. I think Houston has to add a shooter here.
Yeah, and that's why we talked about that this draft is really, my top gun thing. And that I thought it would be all shooters coming after the big man as far as Derrick Coleman goes. But again, Minnesota did sneak in, go big, small, contrary to what we might have thought. But everybody else really here has been a shooter, a guy who can shoot the basketball, who's a scorer, who can do things out there. And that's the kind of draft that it's been. And Houston fits into that category, a team that needs somebody to shoot the ball from the outside to help the big guys inside.
All right, let's update just who's been selected in this draft so far. The 1990 NBA restocking of talent. Jacob Javits Center in New York City, the #1 pick out of the University of Syracuse. Derrick Coleman went to the New Jersey Nets, surprising almost nobody. Then it was Gary Payton, the outstanding guard from Oregon State, who went to Seattle. Another guard, Chris Jackson, went to Denver, who had traded with Miami to get the #3 pick. And if Denver stays with that Doug Moe motion offense, he'll fit in well. Dennis Scott, the great outside shooter, small forward swing guard. Kendall Gill, excellent guard, also a #2 type guard, a big shooting guard, went to Charlotte. Minnesota took Felton Spencer, the center out of the University of Louisville. Lionel Simmons, the Naismith Award winner this year, small forward, went to Sacramento and will play for Dick Motta. The Los Angeles Clippers took Bo Kimball. So now Los Angeles with two Bos, one playing football and one playing basketball. So Bo will know Bo shortly. Willie Burton went to Miami. He's from Minnesota. Atlanta selected RUMEAL Robinson. Golden State and goes with Tyrone Hill. And now we will be coming up with the Houston Rockets. And the Houston Rockets with Akeem Olajuwon at center. There's been a question. We've heard rumors before about everybody trying to make a trade with Akeem Olajuwon. But you have to figure that when you've got a franchise-type player that he'll stay put and they'll try to place players around it. We'll find out right now in just a moment, though, who will be selected by the Houston Rockets as they will select number 12 in this draft. They could use a point guard. They could use a shooting guard. Let's see who they select. With the 12th pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select ALEC KESSLER from Georgia.
Whoa! Whoa! Here, the first curveball of the evening here. Major curveball.
Whoa! ALEC KESSLER is from the University of Georgia. He is a microbiology major. This is a man with near perfect GPA. He also averaged 21 points a game, 6'10 and a half, and he's very smart. Yes, he runs the floor. Not a great leaper. Some people said that there may be some similarities with ALEC KESSLER and a player like Tom Chambers at Phoenix. Do you agree with that, Doug?
Yeah, and I also think that there might be something going with a trade later on, that someone wants ALEC KESSLER, that they couldn't get to him. Houston needs a guard. I mean, you can talk about all you want, but with Thorpe playing heavy minutes and with Olajuwon playing heavy minutes, it would surprise me if this young man stayed in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, this is a shocker to me. I knew things were going along too smoothly with our choices, but they really hit us with this one. No way in the world do you figure that they're going to go for a big guy. Certainly doesn't fill one of the glaring needs that the team has, and I have to agree with Doug. There very well might be something going on. You see again the needs: the point guard, some shooters at the 2 and 3 spots. We're not looking at a guy of KESSLER's size that's a real need for them. So obviously something else may be going on, but we don't know.
Might explain this, by the way, if there is a trade during the draft, the trade can't really be consummated until the team that was going to select later to make a trade in position makes the deal. So that's why we say something might be going on. We won't know until whoever that team is might make a selection. We'll just keep our eye on this. Now let's go to Craig Tracy.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. After graduating from Georgia, 3.91 grade point average in microbiology, you had time to visit 9 teams. What about going to Houston Rockets? Were you surprised they took you?
A little bit. You know, right before they were talking about needing a shooting guard, you know, a 2 and 3 spot. But I did visit there just last Monday. So, you know, since I visited, I guess I thought it was a possibility.
What about a little bit surprised? Or, come on, tell me.
I was very surprised. I mean, I was shocked. I got to admit, but I'm very happy with it, and I love Houston. So that was great.
You also have the opportunity to go on to medical school. Your brother Chad is there already. What has he told you? Should you stay in the NBA or should you pursue possibly becoming a doctor?
He tells me to work on my ball handler as much as I can because, you know, medical school is no fun, especially for the first 2 years. So.
Well, smart move by the Houston Rockets. The scholar athlete for the past 2 seasons, ALEC KESSLER from the University of Georgia. And we will continue our coverage of the 1990 draft from the Javits Center. Up next, the LA Clippers with the 13th pick.
Morning, Joe.
Morning, Mrs. Jenks. Got a Western Union here for Mr. Jenks. Hope it's good news.
Oh, it is. It's that $1 a week life insurance for veterans that Tom and I called about.
$1 a week life insurance?
Uh-huh. It's a real good deal. And because Tom was in the service, I can get coverage, too, for just $1 a week.
You know, I could use some extra insurance.
Well, you were in the service, weren't you, Joe?
Well, yeah, but it was stateside. Army Reserve.
Doesn't matter. Says here, wartime, peacetime, active, or reserve. All branches of service.
Great. What do I do? Make a phone call?
Sure. Let me write down the number.
And if you're a veteran aged 50 to 69, you'll want to write down this number, too. Because now you can get in on this $1 a week term life insurance plan, exclusively for veterans. It's a great value for both veterans and spouses. Your $1 a week rate can never go up. That's guaranteed. And your benefits, well, they never go down. Plus, there's no medical exam to take. And there's no waiting period. Once you're covered, it's from the very first day for the full amount. Just call this toll-free number. Free information will be rushed to you by Western Union. You'll also get free membership in Veterans Vision Care, an eye care plan that saves you money. And once you're covered, you'll get a free subscription to Veterans Update, a newsletter filled with VA news, benefit updates, and more. $1 a week. It's one of the best ways going to give your family the extra security you want them to have. Call now.
Here, Joe.
I'm going to call as soon as I get a chance.
Use our phone. Call them now.
Veterans and spouses ages 50 to 69, call 1-800-258-9800. Veterans Life Insurance Company will send you a free information package immediately. There's absolutely no cost or obligation. Call 1-800-258-9800. Operators are standing by to take your call. That number again is 1-800-258-9800. Call now.
Well, the top 12 players have been selected in the 1990 NBA draft from the Javits Center in New York City. Usually this draft coverage comes to you from the Felt Forum, but we're a little bit further west in New York City at the Convention Center. Derrick Coleman went first. It was Payton, Jackson, Dennis Scott, Kendall, Gill to the Hornets, Felton, Spencer, Lionel Simmons went to the Kings. The 8th pick in the draft went to the Los Angeles Clippers. Bo Kimball went there. Willie Burton to Miami. RUMEAL Robinson from Michigan to the Hawks. Tyrone Hill went to Golden State, surprising some people and really surprising us and a lot of others. The Houston Rockets taking ALEC KESSLER. Alex from the University of Georgia said he, too, was literally shocked. So we think potentially there could be a trade going on. If you'll recall from past NBA drafts, sometimes a team at a position like Houston was at 12 will take a player hoping to be able to work out a trade with a team later in the draft who'll be taking a player, say a guard that Houston would like. If they get that guard, then they make the swap. We make the announcement. That's probably going on now. At least that's our feeling.
Keep your eye on Miami here. Miami maybe, I think, really like ALEC KESSLER. The possibility they might want to do something, maybe draft a point guard later on or a shooting guard and make a deal with Houston. So let's keep our eye on that.
Okay, now the Los Angeles Clippers just selected just a moment ago. You saw the strengths and weaknesses. Los Angeles Clippers now, they got Bo Kimball now. Rick Barry, what do we think?
Well, they were hoping to get Spencer. And Spencer, of course, going to Minnesota early on.
Big maybe?
going big. I think they want to go big. I think they like to get a backup. You don't know about, Benoit Benjamin here, so I guess the only real big man that's out there would be Caldwell as far as the pure center. Let's see what happens.
Okay, here's David Stern. We'll find out.
With the 13th pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the LA Clippers select Loy Vaught from Michigan.